Okay, perfect. So one of the things that we're going to study today is the way to describe, or the correct way to describe, people's personality and character, right? Um, Sometimes we think that this is very easy, right? There are some people who get to the English course and they want complicated words and maybe word lists or complicated grammar. But the truth is that the simple things are the ones that are repeated the most when you're studying English and when you're using it for real life. This is the type of conversations that you will normally have with friends, with family, with acquaintances, with probably anybody in English, right? So we are not going to have, in most of the cases, we are not going to have complicated conversations like talking about physics or mathematics or politics. So these are going to be conversations that are going to be rare. They're not common. But talking about your personality and your character and the personality of and character of another person is something that is most likely going to happen. If you go to a job interview, well, the first thing that they ask you is, okay, how do you describe yourself? Or describe yourself in 2 words, or do this and do that and talk about your personality. So there are a lot of things that we do in the day, in a daily life that that have to do with personality and character. If you're taking personality test at university, if you're applying to maybe another position at your job, so everything starts with learning how to describe yourself. So the purpose of this lesson is to provide you the tools to be able to describe yourself with the adverbs and the adjectives that we have been studying this week. Okay, so adverbs are not only for what we studied yesterday, which was manner adverbs, right? Describe the way that we do things. It's also applicable for describing yourself and other person, and we're going to learn how they affect other adjectives. So let's get started. And of course, I want to open the conversation with the big question. And I say big question because, again, this sounds easy, but when you're trying to express yourself, sometimes it gets complicated. So, how would you describe yourself? And notice that I'm not talking about your physical appearance. I'm not talking about your physical opinion, not your physical appearance, not how you look. I'm talking about your personality. So, in your own words, I'm asking you to try to describe yourself. Okay. So maybe you right now you don't find the words, maybe you think it's a little complicated. What we're trying to do right now is just to activate the knowledge and the vocabulary, and in the rest of the class you will realize how you can improve this question and this answer. And maybe at the end of the class, we can practice again, and you can put into practice some of the examples that I'm going to provide you to answer this question correctly. So how would you describe yourself? I'm going to give you a blank slide in Nearpod where you're going to write about yourself. And then you're going to talk about yourself. So I'm going to give you the opportunity first to think and write, and then I'm going to call your name and I'm going to ask you to describe yourself. Okay. So I'm giving you double opportunity. The first opportunity is to think and to write, at least to have an idea of what you're going to say. And then I'm going to let you use those ideas to talk about your personality. Normally, we will do this exercise just verbally, right? So immediately I ask you, how do you describe yourself? Or how would you describe yourself? But sometimes when this is the first time that we're seeing a question like this, we need time to think. So in an interview in real life, they're not going to give you time to think. If you're in a job interview, for example, they are not going to let you, okay, I'll let you 5 minutes to think about that. No, you only have a few seconds to organize your thoughts and to describe that. So what we're doing right now is just giving you a little advantage, 3-minute advantage. The question is, how would you describe yourself? And try to be as professional as possible. Try to take it seriously if possible, okay? So let's go ahead and work on that. 3 minutes. Oscar, I just sent the link again, if you can check it.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
No problem. Okay, time is over. Okay, good. Okay, good. So if you are having problems with Nearpod, I appreciate you sending the answers in the chat. Okay, so thank you. I see your answers, Pablo. Thank you very much. Let's go with a few of the ones that I have here. So I'm gonna go with the list as it is in Nearpod. In Nearpod, I have Liz first. So I'm gonna go and ask Liz first to um, describe yourself with some of the words that you wrote. But if you want to add more things, feel free to do so. Okay. So the question is, how would you describe yourself?
Okay. I am not a patient person. I like drive very fast, but carefully. I am not a good singer. I I learn new words in English easily.
Okay.
Only.
What about your character? Are you like an outgoing person, a shy person? How would you describe yourself?
I am a good person.
Okay, outgoing or shy? Outgoing is like an extrovert.
Shy.
Okay, so you're more
I
like
think I shy.
you're shy. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna add that to the description. Good job.
Okay.
So let's go with the next person in the list. I have Luisa. Okay, Luisa, let me hear about your description of yourself.
Okay, I'm a reserved and quiet person. To be honest, I'm not an outgoing person. I prefer talk with gente conocida.
Okay, that's yeah, with non-strangers, acquaintances. Acquaintances es una palabra para conocidos. So maybe
Acquaintances,
acquaintances,
I think, but my character, because
Mhm.
I'm so shy, I don't enjoy stay in big reunions.
Mhm.
I prefer small groups of people. Yes,
Okay,
only that.
good. Just that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking about that and of course putting your ideas clearly. Thank you very much. That sounds good. So let me
Okay.
go with Pablo. Pablo, can you let me know a bit of your personality? How would you describe yourself?
I am a little tall and thin. I am also a person with long hair and gray eyes.
Mhm. Okay, good, good. That's a good description of yourself, but that's a description of your physical appearance. Now, for the next exercise, we're going to think about our personality. Like, for example, I am a happy person, or I'm shy, I'm very smart, or I am like a little angry. So things about your personality, not your physical appearance. That's what I would like. Let's go with Feliceida. Feliceida, can you go ahead and let me know about your personality?
I am dark. I am thin. I am a soccer and basket player. I really like practicing different sports. I am happy, but I don't have passion.
Patience.
Patience.
Okay, very good. Okay, good, good. And esa expresión, I don't have patience. That's one way of saying it. Another way of saying it is I am not patient, right? I am not patient. No soy paciente or no tengo paciencia. So both work the same. Okay. So at the beginning of your sentence, you said I am like dark skin and I'm thin. That's great, but that's your physical appearance, right? Lo que estamos tratando es de movernos un poco de lo físico, ¿verdad? Porque el physical appearance como que ya lo dominamos más o menos, ya sabemos cómo decir que alguien tiene un pelo de esta forma y esta otra, ¿verdad? Pero what we're trying to do right now is to go deeper and describe the personality of the people. Now the rest is fine. So talking about what you do, what you like, your personality and character, that sounds great. So let's go with the next one. I have Sander. Sander, give it a try, okay?
Hello,
You,
teacher. I am not a patient person, but I am friendly
mhm,
and I am outgoing. Only that.
just that. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. Ya vi tu pregunta. Y si outgoing is extrovert, right? Extrovertido. So good. Okay, thank you very much. We have that part also taken care. Let me go with Oscar. Oscar, can you do us a favor and describe yourself, please?
Okay, I write more in my notebook.
Okay,
And I am very active in my daily life, and I am, to be honest, I am drive very carefully, and I am very friendly, but when it's necessary, I am grumpy, especially with my coworker.
Mhm. Okay, how do you consider yourself? Like are you outgoing? Are you shy? How would you consider yourself?
I think shy,
A little shy.
yes.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
I think I have you all, and we'll hear more about Karen a little later. Okay, good. So this is a big question. This is a big question because now that you try to describe yourself, you realize that sometimes 3 minutes is not enough, right? We need more minutes to think, to investigate the words that we want. So the purpose or the goal will be to describe ourselves in a super easy way, very fast, like in our speech, like very fluent. So that will be the goal. Right now, we were still like hesitating, right? A little afraid of what we were saying. We were not clear entirely on the words, but that's normal because this is the very first exercise. So what we're going to do right now is to hear other examples. We're going to read and hear other examples from people, and you're going to help me do that. And we're going to see in which ways we can improve our own answers. So we have stories from Jennifer Garcia, we have Michael Smith, we have Byron Chang, and we have Erica Gomez. So we have 4 people who are doing pretty much the same thing, but this time it's reflected on somebody else. Ahorita ellos están dándonos un ejemplo, pero no de descripción de ellos mismos, sino lo están enfocando a alguien más. So they are describing the personality of somebody else. So we're going to work on that. Not only describing the personality, like my personality, but also moving that to describe the personality of somebody else. So here, Jennifer Garcia is answering this question. What's the question? Who is someone you really admire? Who's someone you really admire? Now, that's the question that you are going to have as well. Who is someone you really admire? And here we are going to have some answers, and I want to ask you to help me read the following answers, okay? So I need 4 volunteers to help me reading the text. Who would like to read? Just you can raise your hand or put in the chat if you want to participate. I need 4 volunteers to read. Okay, I have Liz. Who else would like to read? I have 2 people. Luisa, thank you very much. I have okay, Karen. I need another one.
Yo te es que no puedo poner la manita.
That's okay. Okay, so Oscar is going to do number 3. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it first. I'm going to give you a sample of the pronunciation of some of the words, and then I'll let you read. So Liz, you're going to help me with the first one, okay? So my English teacher. So the question again is who's someone, sorry, you really admire? Admire is admirar. ¿A quién admiras? Who's someone you really admire? ¿A quién admiras? Pero miren que tiene esta palabra acá. Creo que le cambia un poco el sentido. Who's someone who you really admire? ¿Verdad? Ya no solo alguien a quien admiras, sino alguien a quien realmente admiras. So someone who is like a big example for you. So the answer for Jennifer is my English teacher. She's incredibly talented and creative, and she has a great sense of humor. She's pretty disorganized though. She forgets something almost every class, but her classes are absolutely wonderful. Okay, so now Liz is going to be your turn. Remember to read entire sentences with meaning, and if there is a period, so you have to make a pause. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
English teacher. She's incredible talent and creative, and she has a great sense of humor. She is pretty disorganized, though. She forgets something almost every class, but her class are absolutely wonderful.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about certain words here. So the word creative, the word though, the word absolutely. So the first word here is the word creative. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. That's the pronunciation. The word is creative. Creative is creativo. Creativo. And she has a great sense of humor. There's another word here that we need to double check. So, a great sense of humor. Humor es humor, como tener sentido del humor. Esa es la frase completa. So, has a great sense of humor. So that means that she has a very nice personality, right? Una persona que se ríe, una persona que se broma. So that's that. Now the word though. This is a word that we had introduced before, but I'm going to refresh it to you. The word though, obviamente ustedes ven que ahí hay más letras, ¿verdad? So if you see it, it doesn't sound like though, right? So literally you're pronouncing this, though, literally. Now, what does that mean? The word though, with that pronunciation, means aunque. Ya lo habíamos visto antes, pero les explico. La palabra aunque nosotros en español la usamos al inicio de las frases, de las oraciones. Aunque tal cosa, tal cosa, tal cosa. En inglés la palabra though puede ser usada al inicio de la oración o puede ser usada al final. So, si esto significa aunque y puede ser usado al inicio o al final, ¿verdad? Significaría ella tiene un gran sentido del humor, aunque ella es bastante desorganizada. She's pretty disorganized. So my English teacher, she's incredibly talented and creative. Creative es creativa, perdón, ahí lo escribí en inglés otra vez. Creativa, creativa. And she has a great sense of humor, humor. She's pretty disorganized though, aunque ella es bastante desorganizada. She forgets something almost every class, but her classes are absolutely. Absolutely is another adverb. Absolute and then the ly. Absolutamente, right? Remember that the adverbs are very similar to the words ending in mente in Spanish. Pacientemente, automáticamente, right? Patiently, automatically. In this case, absolutely, absolutamente, absolutamente. So her classes are absolutely wonderful. Okay, so here we have new words that we can include in the description of our personality or the personality of somebody else. And of course, you have the different translations and the pronunciation tips that you can grab, okay? La palabra aquí se escribe T-H-O-U-G-H, pero la G-H no suena, ¿verdad? No es, ¿verdad? Ni G, sino es though, like D as in David. Though means aunque. Okay, good. So any questions on this part, or are we ready for our next reading?
No questions.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you, Liz. Let's go and take a second look. This is going to be Luisa. Luisa, can you help me with number 2? This is Michael Smith, please. Same question. Who's someone who you really admire?
Okay, I really admire a guy in my karate class. He's extremely competitive, but when he wins, he's not arrogant like some of the other guys. He's not very outgoing, so some people think he's unfriendly, but I think he's just shy.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So here are another set of words that it's convenient to remember. The first word is it's a sport. So we have it here, right? Now the word It's the same in Spanish, at least the spelling, right? In Spanish, karate, right? But in English, this is pronounced karate, like an E sound at the end. So I really admire a guy in my karate class. That's the way that we pronounce this sport. He's extremely competitive. Now, this is like a tongue twister, como que si fuera un poquito de trabalenguas ¿verdad? Porque las T de esta palabra no suenan fuerte. Competitive sounds like more like an R sound in Spanish. Competitive, and this is competitivo. So yesterday we talked about, right, the way that you live your life, right? And sometimes when you're playing games, you don't want to lose. That's being competitive. So he's extremely competitive, but when he wins, he's not arrogant. Arrogant. Noten que nos están tocando palabras fáciles, considero yo, ¿verdad? Estas palabras se llaman cognates. Cognates son cognados. That's in Spanish. Cognados. Y están los false cognates. Falsos cognados. En inglés tenemos ambos. Los cognates son aquellas palabras que tienen un sonido similar, una escritura similar y y un significado similar entre los idiomas. Como por ejemplo, tenemos la palabra competitive y en español tenemos una palabra que es casi idéntica, que es competitivo. Es decir, esta palabra no necesita un diccionario para averiguarla, ¿verdad? O sea, no tuve que hacer mucho para saberlo. Eso es un cognado. Es entre los idiomas, hay muchos de esos, especialmente entre en inglés y en español. Hay cognados. Tengo la palabra arrogant. Ese es otro cognado. Arrogant es extremadamente parecida a arrogante en su forma de escribirse, en su forma de pronunciarse y en su significado. Son lo mismo, ¿verdad? So karate, the same thing. So there are different words in English that are cognates. And these are the words that we have to take advantage of. Todas estas palabras que son cognados son palabras que ya están en tu vocabulario. Ya no son palabras que tienes que ir a buscar al diccionario. Entonces, si buscamos todas esas, vamos a encontrar que realmente no sabemos un montón, ¿verdad? Porque hay muchísimos cognados. Pero hay un peligro. Tenemos algunos cognados que son falsos cognados. Es decir, son palabras que parecieran tener un significado parecido porque se escriben igual o se escriben parecido, pero no son iguales, ¿verdad? Palabras como, por ejemplo, la palabra pen, P-A-N. Pen no es pan, ¿verdad? El pan que comemos, sino pen es sartén. Se escribe igual, parecería que se pronuncia igual, pero su significado es diferente. Esos son false cognate. We have to be very careful with these words. Otro falso cognado podría ser, por ejemplo, la palabra embarrassed. Embarrassed. La palabra embarrassed, ¿verdad? Pareciera tener que ver alguien con embarazado, ¿verdad? Pero no es embarazado. Esto es de avergonzado. O alguien que pasó por una pena, ¿verdad? So that's embarrassed. And there are going to be more. The word fan, F-A-N. Fan no de fanático, sino fan de ventilador. Fan, ¿verdad? Es un ventilador. So there are going to be some words that are very similar to to these, and they are not going to be cognates. They are going to be false cognates. So here, the good thing is that competitive has the same meaning, competitivo. Arrogant has the same meaning, so they are cognates. Arrogant. Like some of the other guys, he's very outgoing. Este ya lo habíamos repetido un poco, ¿verdad? In our introduction of our personalities. Outgoing es extrovertido o sí, alguien que es muy sociable. So some people think he's unfriendly. Unfriendly is the opposite of friendly, right? Friendly, amistoso, amigable. Unfriendly is the opposite of that. But I think he's just shy. So that's the story of Michael. let's go with the third story, and I'm gonna ask Oscar to help me with that. Oscar, can you help me with the answer for Byron Chang?
Yes, teacher. Who is someone you really admire? I think my dad is a pretty cool guy. We get along really well. He's fairly easy easygoing and laid back, and he's very practical and down to earth. So he always gives my good advice. Also, he's completely honest with me, and I can trust what he said.
Thank you very much. So lots of unknown words here. Si nos damos cuenta aquí sí ya habían más palabras que no conocíamos.
Demasiadas.
Okay, let's start by reviewing them. So the ones in black are the ones that are very important. Okay, or the ones in bold. Las que están ahí ya marcadas, ¿verdad? En negrita, de por sí serían palabras que hoy tendríamos que llevarnos nosotros en nuestro bolsillo para poder usarlas. Because they are words that help us describe personality of people. Our personality of the personality of somebody else. So they are either adjectives or adverbs that are going to help us describe the personality of people. So let's go ahead and do the first one. Now, I think my dad is a pretty cool guy. Okay. I think that we don't need a translation for this. We might not need a translation for this, but I want to say it anyways. The word pretty here has a very specific meaning. I think we have done this before, but the word pretty here doesn't mean bonito or guapo. ¿No? So pretty is a synonym and it means very. Okay, so it's a very cool guy. So pretty cool guy or very cool guy is the same thing. Now the word pretty when we use it in this case, in this cases, is more like an informal word. Okay, so it's a word that we use with friends and family. So my dad is a pretty cool guy. We get along really well. Este verbo ya lo habíamos visto también. Sorry. Get along. So no está marcado en negrita, pero creo que vale la pena que se los recuerde. So get along is llevarse bien. We get along really well. He's fairly easygoing. Okay. And laid back. So let me take a line here for easygoing to this side. Easygoing here. And laid back. Okay. We have the word practical. And we have the word down to earth. So we have 4 big words, right? 4 big words. Let's start with easy going. Now, the word easygoing has to do with the personality of somebody, right? Someone who is easygoing is someone who has a relaxed personality. Alguien llevadero le diríamos en español, ¿verdad? Easygoing es alguien que no es como que de carácter difícil, ¿verdad? Si alguien es llevadero, como que tiene más amistad, ¿verdad? Es más fácil que congenie con otro. Si alguien es muy específico en su carácter, en lo que quiere y si quiere imponer sus ideas. Y si hay otra persona que dice, va, está bien, hagamos tal cosa. So that is someone who is easygoing. De buen trato, dice el diccionario, pero nosotros creo que lo conocemos más como ser llevadero, ¿ok? Easygoing. I'm gonna write some ideas here. And then we have another word, which is laid back, as you see it. Laid, and then the hyphen, and laid back. Okay. Someone who is laid back es alguien tranquilo. Entonces, alguien llevadero y tranquilo son como sinónimos de alguna forma, ¿verdad? So, easygoing and laid back. So, it's not someone who is going to be problematic, right? is not going to be stressed. Si hay algo pasa, si se quiebra una taza y se cae el café, ¿verdad? He can go ahead and clean everything. He's not going to get stressed and all freaked out, right? So he's easygoing and laid back. Another characteristic of this person is that he's very practical. Well, the word practical is something that we also have in Spanish. Alguien que es práctico, ¿verdad? Alguien que es práctico es alguien que encuentra una solución rápido, right? So, okay, let's find a solution. Let's do this. Let's try to fix this. And that's someone who is practical, right? Práctico in Spanish with tilde. And down to earth. That's another word. It's 3 words. Down / to earth. Down to earth is someone who is centrado. Not someone too crazy. Down to earth is someone who is very wise, alguien sensato, alguien centrado, alguien que tiene los pies sobre la tierra. Esa es la traducción literal. Down to earth es alguien que tiene los pies sobre la tierra. But when we say that, we mean someone who is centered, who is wise, ¿verdad? Que es sabio. So that is another good characteristic. So he is describing his dad. Noten que él sigue escribiendo su papá. I think my dad is a pretty cool guy. We get along very well. He's fairly easygoing. He's laid back and he's practical and down to earth. So he always gives me good advice. Siempre me da buenos consejos. Also, he's completely honest with me and I can trust what he says. Y puedo confiar en lo que él dice. That's very good. So I hope you're taking notes of these words because we're going to use them for our vocabulary exercises in just a moment. Let's go ahead and do the number 4, and I'm going to ask Karen to help me with this one. So this time is Erika Gomez. Can you help me reading, Karen?
Yes. Who is someone you really admire? My friend Karina, she's so helpful and generous. I mean, she is always doing things for other people. She is not selfish at all. And she's totally reliable. If she says she will help you with something, she does. You can always count on her. Erika Gomez.
Perfect. So we have other words here. We have the word helpful, which probably is not new. Esta tal vez no sea nueva, ¿verdad? Helpful. We have generous. We have selfish. And we have reliable. Okay? So my friend Karina, so she's the person who Erika admires. She's so helpful. Helpful es alguien que ayuda, alguien dispuesto a ayudar. And generous. Este es otro que parecería un cognado, ¿verdad? Porque generoso, ¿verdad? Generous, generosa in this case, right? So she's generous. What's another thing? She's not selfish. Selfish es egoísta. Pero dice que ya no lo es. She's not selfish at all. Para nada es egoísta. And she's totally reliable. Es totalmente reliable. Now, the word reliable is confiable. Eso se puede usar para muchas cosas. You can use it for products. Like you're talking about a car, right? And you can say, oh, this car is very reliable. It's confiable. Or this motorcycle is very reliable. Or this brand or this make is really reliable. Or this person is reliable. So this can be applied to things or people. Reliable, confiable. So these are another 4 words that you can include in your description of things. Now, of course, I know that there are a lot of words, and what we're trying to learn is not just the word, but also what is the meaning behind that. So I have prepared a little exercise to help you memorize it. So I'm going to give you some expressions and their description, okay? So we have some description of situations and you're going to try to match it with the expression, okay? So winning is very important to you. So winning is very important to you. Of all of these options, what is the one that matches the description number 1? So you're going to have to read the description and pay attention to each of them. So if you're taking notes, probably this is going to be easier for you, okay? Then I'll show you the correct answers, of course, and we'll compare it and see if you got them all correct. So let's do that. This is to help you remember vocabulary in a more like active or interactive way. You have 3 minutes. Sorry, 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay, I see that some people have finished. We're gonna wait just for the rest. We only have 1 minute, so let's wait for the last minute, and I'm gonna show you the correct answers for all of them, and we'll see how many of them we were able to get correctly? Okay, perfect. So here is the correct answers. That's the sample answer for you. So let's go ahead and do number 1, okay? So winning is very important for you, or very important to you. Ustedes dijeron varias cosas, pero la respuesta correcta era competitive. O sea, si alguien es está demasiado interesado en ganar, ¿verdad? O sea, le importa demasiado ganar, es alguien que es competitivo, ¿verdad? Vi algunos que dijeron talented o creative, algunos otros dijeron unfriendly, otros dijeron, vamos a ver, reliable, pero la realidad es que esta descripción solo entraba en competitive. Let's go with the next one. You handle small problems well. Como que resuelves las cosas, ¿verdad? Resuelves las cosas. Si resuelves las cosas rápido, eres alguien que es práctico, ¿verdad? Practical or down to earth. Tal vez puede haber sido que algunas se confundieran a alguno easy going, podría haber sido, ¿verdad? Competitive aquí sí no entraba, ¿verdad? Vi que algunos me colocaron competitive. Y tampoco hubiera sido talented. Tal vez talented, al ver las otras, ya se dieron cuenta que talented pertenecía a otra más, ¿verdad? People can always count on you. Alguien que siempre con quien las personas pueden contar o con quien pueden confiar. That is someone who is reliable. For real, reliable. You don't get along with people. No te llevas bien con las personas. Aquí la única que cabía bien era unfriendly, ¿verdad? Unfriendly. Vamos a ver si alguien eligió la K. Ah, sí, alguien puede elegir la K. Como arrogant. Creo que también podría haber sido arrogant, pero aquí no está necesariamente describiendo a alguien arrogante, sino solamente a alguien que no se lleva bien con las personas. You like to have fun with people. Te gusta divertirte con las personas. Esto es outgoing, es decir, te sientes bien rodeado de gente. Outgoing. You're not relaxed around people. Lo opuesto de lo anterior, ¿verdad? Si outgoing era, okay, you have a good time with people around you. You're not relaxed around people. That's shy. That's the opposite. You're relaxed about life. Easygoing or laid back. You are not well organized. What is the opposite of organized? Disorganized. You can do a lot of things well. Puedes hacer un montón de cosas bien. That's someone who is talented. You think you're the best. Tú crees que tú eres el mejor. Like that's a selfish thought, ¿verdad? Eso es un pensamiento que es arrogante, pero también es egoísta, right? You think you are the best. You give a lot of time or money. So you give to people. That means that you're generous. Eres generoso. And that's the last one. Hay una que no usamos, solo que no recuerdo cuál fue. O tal vez sí las usamos todas. Honest creo que era la que estaba de más. Porque eran 11 preguntas, pero habían 12 opciones. So honest it was the one that was extra, if we can call it. Okay, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much for helping me. I know that these words are difficult, but the more that we use them, the better we're going to be at working them. So I have another one. Use words to make these adjectives stronger. ¿Qué palabras me refiero? Miremos solo el texto los textos que leímos al inicio. Miremos palabras como, por ejemplo, she's totally reliable, right? She's so helpful and generous. Vean que no solo es alguien que ayuda y es generosa, sino es she's so helpful and generous. She's totally reliable. No solo es reliable, she's totally reliable. Other examples are here. He's talking about his dad, right? So he's fairly easygoing. Fairly significa bastante. He's very practical, right? Completely honest. So these words that I'm showing you, these words make these adjectives stronger. Les dan como más fuerza a los adjetivos que están describiendo, ¿verdad? Cuando yo digo palabras como very, really, extremely, totally. So these are expressions that make these adjectives stronger. So what am I doing? I'm giving you a list of adjectives. Les estoy dando adjetivos aquí, ¿verdad? Todos estos ya los vimos. Talented, practical, disorganized, honest, and competitive and reliable. ¿Qué es lo que vamos a hacer? Vamos a encontrar o tratar de recordar palabras que sabemos o las que hayamos leído, and we are going to put them here to make these stronger. Like, for example, extremely talented. This is one way of saying it, but there are so many words that you can use whatever words you want to make this stronger, okay? So you have extremely, totally, very, pretty, fairly, so. So these are words to make adjectives stronger. So let's do that. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and you have these 6 words, and I'm asking you to write something next to it to make it stronger, okay? Talented, but what can you say before that to make it stronger? No solo talentoso, sino es muy talentoso. Ok, ¿qué palabra puedes ponerle aquí para hacer ese muy, ¿verdad? Parte de la oración. That's something that I want you to do in 2 minutes. Time is over. Okay, so let me hear some answers. Liz, how would you make this stronger? What are some of the words that you have chosen? Can you read them?
Okay. Incredible, talented.
Okay, incredibly talented. Okay,
Okay, incredibly.
that's right.
incredibly talented, very practical, pretty disorganized,
Mhm,
very honest, and really competitive.
mhm. Competitive.
Competitive.
Okay, very good. So aquí dice petty, pero es pretty, ¿verdad?
Pretty.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Very
Pretty.
good. Let's go with Luisa. Luisa, give me your options.
Very talented, so practical, fairly disorganized, pretty honest, extremely competitive, and totally reliable.
Perfect, perfect. La palabra honest is one of the only words that the H doesn't have a sound in English. So in this case, it's not honest, it's honest without the sound. It's just an exception, okay?
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're very welcome. Pablo, let's go with your examples.
Very talented, very practical, little disorganized, bit honest, y very
Okay, for competitive.
competitive.
Yes, that sounds better. Let's go with Karim.
Very talented, play guitar, very practical, extremely competitive in the game, and the other one was that's it.
That's it. Okay, very good, very good. And Oscar, do you have something?
Yo había escrito la primera, pero ahora solo había puesto extremely.
Okay.
En la otra había puesto very. Y ahorita pues ya escribí la siguiente que es little. En very y en very.
Okay, very good. Very good. So what we're doing is that we're recapping everything. So thank you very much. So if you have problems with Nearpod, guys, you can do it in the chat, okay? Entonces, si de repente se les traba Nearpod o algo así y tienen que hacerlo en el chat, siéntense en la libertad de hacerlo en el chat también. No problem. So this is exactly what I wanted, ¿verdad? A veces estamos acostumbrados a solo usar very. Y lo noté aquí, ¿verdad? Porque de repente algunos de ustedes usaron very más de una vez. Pero very is not the only one that exists. We have more. We have pretty, we have extremely, we have totally, we have so, right? Incredibly, fairly. So those are the words that we're learning now that we don't have to use very every single time. We have a lot of options to make it to make it more I will say unique, right? So more unique for us. Last exercise before we start practicing our conversation strategies for today. So what are the opposites of these words, right? So friendly, what is the opposite of friendly? Organized, what is the opposite of organized? Unreliable, what is the opposite of unreliable? So I'm asking you to write next to the word the opposite of them. These are words that were in the text. They were in the text. I'm just asking you to remember the words and give me the opposites. So you have about 2 minutes to write the opposites. Okay. So some of your answers are friendly, unfriendly, organized, disorganized, unreliable, reliable. Esto funciona igual que el español, si se dieron cuenta, ¿verdad? Organizado, desorganizado, ¿verdad? Y algunas otras que se parecen exactamente al español, ¿verdad? Como creíble e increíble, right? Credible and incredible. So we have those words. There are others that we cannot translate literally, como por ejemplo friendly y unfriendly, no tenemos una traducción literal en español, ¿verdad? Tenemos amistoso o amigable y no amigable o tenemos a alguien que es engreído, pero no tenemos una traducción específica de unfriendly. En eso el inglés es más sencillo. So we have the possibility to transform that word to the opposite by adding certain letters at the beginning. For example, unfriendly. And now we transform the word friendly to unfriendly. Or organized. This one is not disorganized, it's disorganized. Disorganized, but it's kind of close, very close. We have unreliable, right? Like unreliable and unfriendly and reliable. So what we're studying here is that these adverbs make stronger. This adverbs made adjectives stronger. Ayer aprendimos que los adverbs nos ayudaban a decir cómo se hacían las cosas, ¿verdad? Esperar pacientemente. So, the way that you do things. Pero los adverbios no se quedan solo ahí. Los adverbios también nos sirven para poder darle fuerza a algunas de las expresiones que damos. Estas palabras que ustedes han utilizado como incredibly, extremely, really, very, pretty, fairly, estos son adverbios también, solo que esta vez no apuntan hacia el verbo, sino están apuntando hacia el adjetivo y nos están diciendo que es más fuerte. It's not only talented, it's incredibly talented. She is not just generous, she's extremely generous. He's not just a cool guy, he's really cool. Or he's very, get along very well. Or pretty easygoing, or fairly laid back. So adverbs are going to be a lot of help when we are trying to give details. Para este punto en el que estamos, que es intermediate, ¿verdad? Y los cursos de intermediate, ya nosotros estamos diciendo cosas que son un poco más específicas. Ya no solo, por ejemplo, I play soccer with my friends, ¿verdad? Or I have a friend who is a soccer player, sino que estamos dando más detalles. Los adverbios nos ayudan a dar más detalles. No solo esperé en la estación de tren, sino esperé pacientemente en la estación de tren mientras llegaba tal persona. So we are providing more details. Here, the same. We can see that these are simple sentences. Estas oraciones son muy sencillas, ¿verdad? 4, 5 palabras máximo, pero tienen más información. Ya no solo es talented. So we're giving more information about that person and about the characteristics of that person. She's incredibly talented. He's pretty easygoing. Y podríamos seguir muchos más, ¿verdad? De esto vamos a hablar el día de mañana, pero hay niveles, ¿verdad? Hay niveles en cómo darle la fuerza a los adjetivos. Cuando uno dice, por ejemplo, absolutely, ¿verdad? Eso es algo así como extremo, ¿verdad? Extremely. Estos le dan una fuerza tremenda. Hay algunos que le dan una fuerza menor y hay algunos que son menores. So it depends on the emotion of the moment or the information that you're trying to transmit that is going to determine what is the perfect what is the perfect word that you're going to use. But that's something that we're going to study tomorrow, and we're going to have more details about that in the morning. Sorry, in the evening for tomorrow. Now we're going to get to our speaking section for today, and I want to do a little exercise that we have not done before. So we are going to try to work a little bit on retention. Okay, so this is another exercise that I mentioned that we were going to do, but we have not done it. So I'm going to give you some examples. retention. What is retention? And what are some of the retention exercises? Well, basically, the retention exercises consist in me reading a sentence or a phrase, and I want you to remember first, hear the phrase, remember the phrase, and then repeat. Okay, so please first listen to the sentence. Sorry, sentence. That's number one. Then repeat as close as possible to the original. Okay, so I want you to listen to the sentence and then repeat as close as possible to the original. Okay, so for example, if I read something like this, she's absolutely wonderful. I read something like this, and you will have to repeat it after me as close as possible to the original. That means as close as possible to this sentence. Now, the thing here is that you're not going to see the sentence, okay? Por eso se llama retention, porque es que no van a leer la oración. No van a saber qué oración les voy a dar yo. Simplemente van a escuchar lo que yo les estoy diciendo. You're going to listen to the sentence and then you're going to repeat as close as possible to the original. ¿Qué? ¿Por qué se llama retention? Porque ustedes van a escuchar la oración, van a tratar de retener lo máximo y van a repetir o replicar esa oración que yo les dije o esa frase, porque a veces puede ser más grande que una oración, tan cercano posible a la original. Okay, entonces, that's the exercise for retention that we're going to work today. So I'm going to start by grabbing, yeah, let me check here. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to start by using some of the sentences that we used today, okay? Voy a empezar antes de meterme a oraciones que no, que son completamente nuevas. Voy a sacar oraciones de las lecturas que tuvimos hoy. Entonces va a haber un vocabulario relativamente cercano a lo que hemos estado escuchando, ¿verdad? Estos ejercicios de retention a veces se hacen con oraciones X, ¿verdad? Y con un vocabulario X. No necesariamente más difícil, solamente que como nuestro oído hoy está acostumbrado a ciertas palabras que hemos estado usando, pues voy a hacerlo un poco más fácil siendo este nuestro primer ejercicio. So you're going to listen and to repeat as close as possible. What is the purpose of the exercise? Primero, el propósito de este ejercicio es que escuchemos, pero aprendamos a escuchar. Vamos a tratar de escuchar la entonación, claro, la pronunciación y la información. So we're going to try to do three things. I'm going to repeat the sentence, but when I repeat it, por eso dice tan cercano posible como la original. Tiene que ver todo con la pronunciación que la original sea. Hoy voy a hacer yo para poder controlar esto más, pero esto lo podemos hacer con un video. O sea, yo pongo un audio o un video de alguien X y y leemos una oración o escuchamos una oración, mejor dicho, y ustedes la repiten. Puede ser un hombre, una mujer, un acento desconocido o un acento conocido, pero hoy lo vamos a hacer más sencillo. So you listen to the sentence, repeat as close as the original, okay? So let's start with the list that I have here. And I'm going to start with Friseida. Friseida, I'm going to read a sentence for you and I want you to repeat it as close as possible. Let me know when you're ready, please, to hear. Are you ready to listen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So here is the sentence. My English teacher is incredibly talented. I want you to repeat it back to me.
My English teacher, she's incredibly talented.
Okay, very good, very close. I'm going to do it again. Voy a hacerlo otra vez. Bien cerca, estuviste bien cerca, pero hay algunas cosas que podemos mejorar. My English teacher is incredibly talented.
My English teacher is incredibly talented.
Very good. The last two words is incredibly and talented. So very close. Estuvo bien cerca. Te falta un poquito. Let's go with Oscar. The same exercise, Oscar. I'm going to give you a sentence. It can be big or small, and you're going to try to replicate it as close as possible. Okay? So here it is. She's creative and she has a great sense of humor.
She's incredible and sensitive. I forgot. Sorry.
Let's do it again. That's okay. Let's do it again. So she's creative and has a great sense of humor.
She's a creative and sensitive. You say human?
It's sense of humor. Let's do a
Oh,
third.
sense of humor.
Let's do a third attempt. Okay. So she's creative and has a great sense of humor.
Okay.
She's creative.
She's creative and has a sense of humor.
Of humor.
Sensitive or humor.
La frase que vimos en clase es sense of humor, que es tener sentido del humor, ¿verdad? So, has
It's not sensor?
No, not sensor. Sense.
Sense, okay, sense.
Sense of humor.
Sense of humor. Okay.
That's right. Okay, let's do
sorry.
one last
Okay.
one. Okay? So she's creative and has a great sense of humor.
She's a creative and has a sense of humor.
Sense.
Humor.
Not sensor, right? Sense of humor.
Sense of humor.
Okay, very good. So we're going to keep practicing. This is the first attempt.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and move to Karin. Karin, the next sentence is for you. She's pretty disorganized. She forgets something almost every class.
She is pretty disorganized. She forgets something.
Let me do it again. She's pretty disorganized. She forgets something almost every class.
She's pretty disorganized. She forgets something almost every class.
Okay, very close. She's pretty disorganized. That's the word that you're missing, the pronunciation, right? So she's pretty disorganized. She forgets something almost every class.
She's pretty disorganized. I'm sorry. She's pretty disorganized.
Disorganized.
Disorganized. She forgets something almost every class.
That's right. Yes, that's correct. Well done. Liz, the next one is for you. All of her classes are absolutely wonderful.
All four classes. Again, please.
Sure. All of her classes are absolutely wonderful.
All four classes. Absolute. I don't remember.
That's okay. I'm going to do it again. All of her classes are absolutely wonderful.
Okay. All four classes are absolutely wonderful.
Yes, that's better. That's correct. So one last time. All of her classes are absolutely wonderful.
All of our classes are absolutely wonderful.
Perfect. Yes, you got it right. Let's go with Luisa. I really admire a guy in my karate class.
Yeah. I really admire. Can you repeat again, please?
Sure. I really admire a guy in my karate class.
I really admire a guy in my karate class.
Okay, almost. Karate is a sport, right? So again, I really admire
Okay.
a guy in my karate class.
I really admire a guy in my karate class.
That's right. Wonderful. You did it right. Let's do it with Pablo. Pablo, I'm going to read a sentence and you repeat it back to me, okay? He's extremely competitive, but not arrogant.
He is extremely competitive and no, ah,
We can do it again. He's extremely competitive, but not arrogant.
he is extremely competitive, is not, but not agradable,
Arrogant is the last word.
arrogant.
Okay, let me do it again. You almost got it. He's extremely competitive, but not arrogant.
She is extremely competitive, but not
Arrogant.
arrogant.
Okay, one last time, and let's leave it there. He's extremely competitive, but not arrogant.
She is extremely competitive, not ar-
Arrogant.
arrogant.
Okay, good job. At least you tried. You did a good job. Let's go ahead and do it with Sender, okay? He's not very outgoing, so some people think he's unfriendly. Está muy larga, ¿va? Voy a hacerlo otra vez. He's not very outgoing, so some people think he's unfriendly. Y si no, vámonos por partes, porque creo que esta oración estaba muy larga. So, he's not very outgoing.
Bien, una vez más y
Okay.
me lo prendo.
Okay, so he's not very outgoing, so some people think he's unfriendly.
He's not very outgoing, but some person think is unfriendly. Creo que dijo.
Yeah, very good. Let me repeat it one last time, and you almost got it. He's not
Okay.
very outgoing, so some people think he's unfriendly.
He is not very, no, dijo not very, sure.
That's right.
He is not very outgoing, but some, no, bueno. Una vez más, ya.
Okay, so he's not very outgoing, so some people think he's unfriendly.
He is not very outgoing.
Perdón, como que estabas tapando el micrófono de tu celular, no. I couldn't listen to it.
Dice, ¿me escucha?
Yeah, I can hear now.
He is not very outgoing, but some person think is unfriendly.
Very good. Very good. En vez de people era, perdón, en vez de person era people, pero sí, cerca, like really close, very close, almost there. Okay, good job. So, so guys, this is what the retention exercise looks like. This was just a little sample of a retention exercise. Now, of course, the objective is to do it better and better every time, right? our ears are going to be so trained, porque eso es lo que pasa, nuestros oídos ahorita no están entrenados todavía. Entonces nos está costando mucho primero entender la información. Algunos se están concentrando tanto en repetir que no están entendiendo. Pero cuando nosotros entendemos primero, when we understand first the message, the repetition is going to be easier. ¿Ok? Entonces concéntrense primero en entender el mensaje. If you understand the message first, then the repetition is going to be easier. Because the ideas are going to be there. We're just putting some words. Entonces, aunque cambiemos una pequeña coma o una pequeña palabra, el mensaje va a estar bien cercano al original. If we only repeat and we are not understanding what's happening, then we have a problem, because if we forget something, if we forget a word, we're going to forget the rest and we're going to be stuck in just 1 or 2 words. So that's the retention exercise. This is something that you can do on your own. You can do it with YouTube videos. Con YouTube videos pueden hacerlo y poniéndole pausa y play. So you listen to a sentence, you pause, and then you repeat. A ese ejercicio se le llama también shadowing. So you're the shadow. Ustedes son la sombra de esa persona. So basically what you're doing is that you're repeating, right? El shadowing a veces nos ayuda a hacerlo lo más rápido posible detrás del que habla. El retention nos ayuda a entender el mensaje. We're understanding the message first, and then we're trying to replicate that by saying it back. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to get better and better at retention. I know that today was the first exercise, and of course, for some of you, this is completely new. But this is taking your understanding to the next level. No sé si se dieron cuenta, pero ahorita ya estiramos un poco la marca, ¿verdad? O sea, nos estamos estirando más allá de lo que normalmente hacemos. Normally, we're okay by saying my personality and maybe writing a couple of words. But right now we're putting our brains to work. I'm pretty sure that you feel very concentrated right now. So the rest of the days, we're going to do a mix of things, right? So when we read out loud, we also create some of the practice of pronunciation that we need, but retention is a very good exercise that sometimes it's also a little funny. So that's everything on my end for today. I really hope that you enjoy the class, but also that you learn something from it. And I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 again. Okay. So wish you the very best and talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Have a good one.
teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
You.